talk on how to nurture a growth mindset for our children. Usually there are two types of mindsets. That's the growth mindset and the fixed mindset. And the difference is a person with growth mindset, they do believe that whenever they are faced with anything that they have to do, they can get better with time, as long as they put the right amount of effort in doing a certain thing. Well, a person with a fixed mindset, they do believe that what they can do, and what they cannot do, they will not do, and they'll never be able to learn how to do it. And some people actually have a mix of the two. There are things that they think they can get better, and there are things that the people think like, that's not for me, and they'll choose not to do that. So how do we nurture a growth mindset in our children? So the first thing that we need to tell our children is that the brain gets better with time as long as you put the right amount of effort in doing anything. Each one of us is a genius. The difference is how much we use and exercise our brain. I usually like to use this example. Like, the brain has so many tiny light bulbs, and each of these light bulbs helps you in doing something very specific. So things like learning how to ride a bike, things like learning how to read, learning how to write, learning mathematics, learning science, learning a new language represents a specific bulb in our brain. So the bulbs that we tend to use more become very bright, and that's what people see. And the bulbs that we don't use become dull. And the bulbs that we will never use, we'll never even know they actually exist in our brain. So if you want to be an expert in a certain thing, that means you need to learn more about that, and you need to read more about that, and it will get to a point where you can even be able to teach others about what you know. And with that, people will think you're very smart or you're very intelligent in that particular area. Having said that, we all have the same amount of bulbs. The difference is each one of us gets to choose which bulbs to focus on based on their talents and their interests. So when we're nurturing our children, when they're still young, give them an opportunity to learn as many things as possible. And with time, you'll come to identify what their talents are. And we say someone has a talent in something when they put relatively very little amount of effort, and the results become higher than the rest of the group. Like for example, maybe if you're a pianist, your other peers will have to use like 4 or 6 hours of training for them to be able to master a certain key. But for you, you just do it once and there you get it. So for you, what you need to do, you should not compare yourself with the others. You need to compare yourself with what you can actually do. So that means if your other peers have to put in 6 hours to learn this one key that you can master in 30 minutes or 1 hour. So for you, what if you put the same 6 hours that your peers are actually putting in? And from there, if you are able to do that, so automatically you're going to be the greatest pianist in that group, and of course maybe even in the whole world. And once you know that you have that as a strength, you sharpen your skills in piano, because you already are talented. That means learning even the complex things become very easy for you, and also even being able to create new things because of the talent that is already inside of you becomes extremely easy for you as compared to people who are maybe talented, not in piano, but for them maybe it's in football, or maybe in art, that is in painting, or maybe in doing science experiments, or even just in imagination of all these architectural buildings or anything else in this world. So we need to nurture that information from a very, very young age. That means if you do something and you find it very easy, you don't need to sit and relax. The second thing that we need to instill in our children is that we should reward effort and not results. So what you're really trying to tell them is, as long as you always and make sure that you do your best in any circumstance, it is okay, regardless of what the results may be. So if someone is doing something and they find it very easy, it means they're talented in that specific area. So the reward is not on how easy this person, how easy it was for this person to score an A. The reward should be how much time did this person take to learn this new thing. So instead of you really stopping at the results, you actually push the boundaries of each child individually. And that's really how our education system should be. There are those people who are very sharp in class. You don't stop there with everyone else, but you push yourself further to learn other things and to master whatever things, and even go deeper to understand the foundation of whatever you're learning, as compared to other people who are just struggling in just learning some certain principles in class. Don't praise results, but praise the effort and the mastery of a particular subject. Then the third thing that you should always remember is, whenever you're praising your child, it has to be very specific. Avoid things like you're very smart or you're very intelligent. These are just blanket, because what you're telling them is, if they are not able to perform in a certain field the way they did, then they are lesser smart or they are lesser intelligent, which is not true. So when you're praising your child, praise in very specific areas and only praise effort and not results. I keep on emphasizing, because if you're praising effort, they'll push themselves further, as opposed to praising results, which is now the outcome of the effort that was put behind whatever you're seeing. The fourth thing that you need to remember is, train your children to see failure as an opportunity to learn and grow. If they think they did their best and the results did not happen the way they expected, instead of them backing off and going to look for something else to do, they need to understand what went wrong. Again, it's the effort. Why isn't this thing working as expected? What did I miss? So failure is always an opportunity to learn and grow. So whatever, if it's in class, whatever subjects they did not do well, or in practical, whatever did not happen, or even anything that they face, they should, if something happened in less the expectations, they should always try to go back and see what happened, where did I miss this. And once they do that, with time, they are going to always be asking themselves these questions, and that's how you build resilience and tenacity into today's world. Because the challenges of life are endless. And if any challenge that comes to you means you backing off and changing, you'll never be able to be stable in one thing. And of course, we do know you can only bear fruits where you planted and take time to grow. The other thing that we need to always allow our children to do is, always remind them, failure is okay. It is okay to fail, and you fail because you're trying out new things, you're experimenting new things, you're pushing boundaries. Your creativity depends on how much you are ready to try and how much you are ready to actually face failure. The more creative you are, that means the more questions you ask yourself and the more things you try. And from there you come with very excellent problem solving skills, which is really what we need in today's world. So always remember, when you're nurturing your children, tell them each one of us can do anything as long as they put their minds to it. The second thing, as a parent, always praise and acknowledge effort and not results. For those who can master things faster, that means they have a talent in those specific areas. You do not sit and celebrate the results. What you need to do is push your boundaries further so that you are able to leave prints for other people to follow. The fourth thing that you need to remind your children is that it is okay to fail. Failure allows you to learn and grow.